Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are at. I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's SoulSaint here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the news of what's kind of going on this week, as well as why you should get interactive with certain events and why you should maybe consider not doing some events, or some general information about what's going on in the world of Raid. I think we'll start off with like one of the bigger ones, which is the new fusion is pretty much ending as of right now. I believe we're in the last couple days for it to go, and basically, since this is now Monday and tomorrow we'll have CVC, and that'll be the first thing I wanted to bring up. This will be the great time if you haven't already fused your nude. You want to definitely hold off on it and wait till CVC so you can get some extra free points. I think the general consensus is that everybody's gonna be trying to do that. So pretty much to keep yourself on an even plateau, you pretty much want to make sure that you're staying on pace with making sure that your fusion is ready and that you're holding on to it for the right time to pull your nude. In addition to that, they also had some new updates of some stuff that's coming along the way, which is going to be for extra drops. They have a Dwarven faction event where you're going to have like a lot of accessory drops in particular for that faction. I think this is a great opportunity for you guys to farm a little bit more for your newt if you don't have a lot of resources available to you in terms of accuracy. Or crit damage or whatever you need to build him in, right? This is a great opportunity to kind of focus on building some gear for him, basically, right? Also, fast forwarding to the next day, which will be Tuesday into Wednesday, so we'll be smack dab in the middle of CVC during this period. They're also opening up a triple event for drop rates for Shadowkin. Shadowkin's also going to be pretty good for you guys, and I'm very curious as to why they're specifically targeting Shadowkin. So, tinfoil hat moment here is that maybe with the next episode that we got coming down the road, there's going to be something that has to do with Shadowkins, or maybe even Sylvan Watchers, which, speaking of, Wednesday to Thursday, which is going to be basically final day of the CVC event going into, the day after, they're going to have a triple event for Sylvan Watchers. So, Sylvan Watcher Faction War just came out recently, and for those of you guys that may have a decent pool and you want to try to push and get more points in terms of stars to get Lydia if you haven't already got her, or if you're just trying to finish up the faction altogether since that's the last one that you need to do anyways, this is a great opportunity to get some more resources for that particular faction. So triple events, that's kind of what's going on down the road here for the next couple days, right? Now the big one, and this is the one that I would say is probably the most important in terms of what I would consider most accounts should invest their resources towards, is they have a triple speed event. You heard it right, triple speed event, which is going to happen from Thursday to Sunday. So we're going to have a long bit of time to farm that. It's going to be what, maybe 2-3 days worth? Very, very valuable. And I think that the reason why is that speed is king. We talked about it all the time, whether I'm on my live stream or in my, starting your game off right or defining your progression. A lot of times, everything that you're going to do to this game is going to have some kind of form of speed tuning or speed requirements laced inside it. So being able to go above and beyond that and increasing your chances of getting better speed pieces, this is the event for that, right? If you're trying to, take your step into Ultra Nightmare territory and you have the champions to do something like an unkillable comp, but you don't have the speeds for it, this is it. This is a great opportunity for you to be able to find that answer that you're looking for in your gear. So really, really strong set of events that are coming up, in particular if you have some kind of desire in any of these factions to bring up your gear efficiency, then this is a great event for you from the spider standpoint. One of the best places to farm silver, so if you're just looking to increase your silver, as well as speed gear that we got down the road. This is going to be a pretty eventful set of dungeon events coming up down the road, okay? So in tandem with that, though, they also have something that just recently came out, which is the Deck of Fate. This is going to be going on from today all the way up until Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so pretty much throughout the week, almost, in tandem with these other events you got going on, which is going to be the Deck of Fate. I never really covered it too much, but from what I remember, the rewards are pretty much as it goes. You pretty much would farm and get artifacts or upgrade artifacts and accessories, and then as you acquire points, and this will vary based off of the rarity as well as the level of upgrading you take to it, you'll get a certain amount of card points, which will allow you to pull or flip a card, which is at a minimum 1,000 apiece, right? Now, that's not all. If you are so happen to get the same rarity, because there's different color coding, right? So you have like commons, uncommons, rares, epic, flip cards that you can get. If you get 3 of the same type of rarity flip, you have a chance of getting additional rewards, which will be based upon the quality or the rarity of the cards you flipped, right? So if you flip 3 uncommon, you have a chance to get any of these rewards. Same thing with rares, and the same thing with epics as well, right? Now, the difference between this event and the previous event, for what I remember, is they've taken, like, one that I would like to know would be, like, legendary books are not in the actual base flip. So, like, none of these cards at a base flip, even if you don't get the triple in the previous event, you had a chance of getting at least 2 Lego books. I myself actually got him, right? Whereas in this one, the only chance that you're going to be able to get a legendary book is if you flip 3 consecutive epic cards in a row, which I don't know about you guys, but my luck ain't that good, so I haven't been able to see that very often. Now, I will note that getting 5-star haste glyphs and, you know, 4-star chickens and even ore, for that matter, is pretty valuable in my opinion, but the likelihood of you being able to acquire those is going to be very contingent upon how aggressively you farm this event. And we got a lot going on already as it is. However, I will say that since we are going to be in the middle of some spider events, we're in the middle of CVC, which most people on the higher end side, they practically just sit in spider, since this is one of the most efficient places to farm not only silver, but do your dungeon runs, which nets you points, as well as getting gear, which nets you points. Like, all this stuff that you're going to be able to do net points is pretty much one of the faster ways to do it. So most people kind of sit in there after they do, like, you know, their 3v3s and all these other different things. I did a video on CVC point breakdown and how you can go about acquiring CVC points, not only just from consuming energy, but also from, you know, different areas of the game that you can get some value out of. So definitely check that out when you got some time. Now let's get to the big and the most controversial, I would say, of what's going on right now in the world of Raid. We have a new shard. I don't think they actually have a specific name for it or whatever, but this new crystal, this new Prism Shard that they got going on, has sparked a lot of debate. And I understand why. I get both sides of the spectrum here when it comes to people who are for it and people who are against it. And I'm gonna break it down, and then I'll give you my thoughts basically when we go from here. So, Plarium has been approached, or I would say in general, it's been talked about amongst the community about how the more champions we get, which is not a bad thing. You know, we always want a wide selection of diverse champions, right? That's always a W. But as that pool gets bigger, you know, trying to get a specific champion, one that has a high value for your account, becomes a lot harder to acquire because the pool is getting bigger, right? So just because there's a specific legendary you want, even within a 10x banner now, because of how vast the champion pool is, I mean, 700 plus, maybe even getting closer towards 1,000 now in terms of like different champions you can get, the likelihood of you getting a legendary, let alone that specific legendary you're looking for, is a lot lower as we go along. So to combat that, I believe this is what Plarium's answer is, which is where they specify specific factions, or in this particular case, alliances. If you're not familiar with Nyresian, I think is how they pronounce it, is basically the entire union here that has not only the hidden one that doesn't exist yet, but Sylvan Watcher, Shadowkins, and Dwarfs, which is the more newer factions that exist currently in the game, right? These are the most recently provided factions. Sylvan Watcher is not even a year old yet, as far as I'm aware. So my thinking is that if I'm understanding them correctly, they're trying to introduce factions or this shard as an answer to the fact that you're looking for specific shards. So I wouldn't doubt it that when this event ends and they rotate and they introduce a new Prism event, that they're going to introduce a new alliance or a new set of factions for players to potentially pull their shards from, right? For Prism. So in this particular case, if we look at this from a reference standpoint, and I believe like people from the Hell Hades crew, like Saphira and them, they did a breakdown on it. Basically, the way that these points break down are the way this Prism works is that although from a shard to shard standpoint, it's 3% less from a sacred, the likelihood of you getting a specific shard is the equivalency to like not a 10x but like a 20x if you were so happen to get a legendary. And that's very valuable, you know what I mean? And I will say it like this. I think that Prism Shards and this whole particular new system with like Prism crystals and all that is not perfect, for sure. I think that there's always going to be room for improvement. However, I do think that being able to get somewhat closer to being able to acquire specific champions is always a W. So, you know, my biggest concern, and this is kind of where I'm going to come at when it comes to the way these shards look, or how the system looks, is that I think that the system as a whole is a win, but contingency upon that statement is dependent upon how are you able to acquire your prisms or your shards, basically, your fragments, however you want to call this currency. How hard or what ways are we going to be able to acquire it? As of right now, from what I've read, and this is just utilizing the information that has been publicated to us, from what I have read, it sounds like they're going to have ways for you to get it through specific events and tournaments. So there's going to be events where you can acquire it. I believe, if memory serves me correctly, there is going to be a tournament that has to do with Spider or something along those lines. I am on my referral account right now, so this is kind of like a bad indicator to show you. But there is going to be like, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some ways to buy it in the shop through like your mini mix packs or some kind of like specific pack that's going to be designated for it, which is a little pay to win, and I don't particularly care for that too much. But it is an asset. I mean, like if you have an opinion about, you know, basically making it too pay to win, then the same thing would go with how you would purchase regular shards. It's the same concept with just within a specific pool, right? So, you know, you can have your own opinions on it, and I respect that, but I think that overall having this opportunity to be able to do it is going to be a lot better for players to get specific shards, you know? And you know, referring to other information, like, although like an in-game player or a late-game player may have one, if not all of these champions or a copy of these champions, I think that like players who are, you know, progressing from like a mid game to even maybe even late game, like for me, for example, let me speak on my main account. My main account, I have a Trunda, I have 2 Brognies, I have a Mishinaki. I don't have a Herndig, I don't have a Kyoku, I don't have a Kimi or any of these 3 from the Sylvan Watches, whether that's Elva or Galkobar or I think that's Druark, if I remember correctly. You know, I wouldn't mind an Elva. I wouldn't mind particularly like a Kimi, for example. Kimi would be a big deal for my account in various different ways. So there's some value here for me, right? And then in addition to that, like specific epics that you may want your hands on, like for example, Geo's basically a legendary inside an epic skin, and I know that there's players who went out of their way to try to get a Geomancer and spend a lot of money to do it. So this is like another way of being able to funnel your focus a little bit more precisely, right? Is it without its imperfections? No. I think there's going to be a lot of room for improvement. The likelihood of you getting a legendary is still at the level of a legendary. So I think that you should go with expectations that this is similar to your standard summoning pool in terms of like your likelihood of getting a rare versus an epic versus a legendary is going to be pretty on par with how normal shard pools are going to be like, right? I think that system is going to pretty much be in play, right? I do think that, however, getting specific champions, and that's the key point, is like the specific focus on, if I were like, I need this Mishinaki for my account, this would be a game changer. Right now, the Nyresian Summon Pool would be a very, very valuable asset for you, right? Now, if you're looking for something like I need a Kymar, like on my account, I've been praying to the player and gods to get a Kymar, then this Nyresian Summon Pool has a little bit less value, right? But, you know, say for instance, they do the Demon Spawn factions where you can get Kymar or your Helicath or something around those lines, then the value immensely shoots up. So it's all going to be contingent upon your particular focus of what you're looking for on your account. However, to say that this event is bad just because you don't currently see that in this pool is not necessarily conducive to what this system is actually intending. It's going to be a rotation is the way I'm going to assume it's going to work, where there's going to be a lot of different alliances that are going to be rotated in, maybe on a weekly basis, maybe on a bi-weekly, monthly, we don't know. It's all speculation. But if they're rotating it in and they're giving you a lot of opportunities to give you, like, at least, for me, if they at least give you enough events to have one summon attempt from just being active in the game, I would be very, very happy with that. As well as like they rotate this the pool of champions that you can get in this particular, you know, window that they have available. I think that would be a very good healthy revitalization to this game in terms of like getting, you know, specific champions that you're looking for. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Do y'all think that this particular summoning event, what are some of the pros and cons of it? I mean, at the end of the day, like, I do think it's just another shard. I will say this, most players, for example, I claimed it on my account, there's a lot of extra shards, I believe you get as a part of, like, the, some people got some free ones. I believe if you haven't checked inside your shop right now, there's one that you can get, like, a free claim of, which will give you some shards, as well as, I believe there's a tournament event that will be giving you a chance to get more fragments to do a summon, at least one free summon. I think that's a win. And if you are one of those type of people that don't mind spending money in this game and you're looking for particular champions that line up with the Nyresian Alliance, this is a great opportunity. So I think that this is just giving you more options, and I think that as a player, that's a healthy experience for most people, which is where like you're given the option to. You're not required to participate in this, and I think that's the most important thing about this particular event, is that it's not required, but to have the option to participate if you so choose to is never a bad thing. I'd rather have the option than not have the option. You know what I mean? And at that point, I can weigh the pros and cons within my own account and decide, okay, is this particular alliance worth for me investing my resources to this particular event to get that extra fragment to do a summon? If the answer is no, then I can just save. You know, it's my choice, right? But if it's a good thing that I want to participate in, then now I have the option to go for it, and it gives me another chance at maybe getting that game changer champion I'm looking for. So, y'all let me know. Let me know. In the comments below, feel free to give me your 2 opinions about whether this event is a W or is it a loss for the community. In my opinion, as you heard it, I think it's a good one. So, with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and as always remember, stay ascended.